Hey kiddos, I wanted to go through with you about finding the whole of a fraction. Okay, so this would be the whole, right? This is the whole thing that we're going to try and figure out our fraction of 1/3. And when we were learning about fractions, we learned that the top number is the numerator, the bottom number is the denominator. The denominator tells us how many parts we're going to break this whole down into, and the numerator at the top is telling us how many of those we're going to count out of what we have broken down. Right, kiddos? All right, so it was now broken down into 3 parts, right? 1, 2, 3. So then we wanted to count 1/3 out of those 3, or 1 out of those 3. So we have 1/3 right here, right, kiddos? Now we have the fraction of 2/5. And the bottom number is the denominator. It tells us how many groups that we break it down into. So here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4th, and here's the 5th group. And if we were going to count the amount out of those groups, we're saying this is 2/5. So we're counting 2 of those groups. So this would be group 1 and group 2. Right? And they have it circled here as in 2/5 of those groups. 2 out of the 5. Now, this shape is 1/4 or 1/4. What does the whole look like? Well, if this is 1/4 of the shape, what do you think the rest might look like? I'm going to let you think about that for a second. Okay, kiddos, so the shape, like I was saying, is 1/4 or 1/4, and it asks us, what does the whole look like? Well, if I were going to do the whole, and it had the first quarter looking like this, I would probably have it in some sort of a rectangle shape, right? And that would be the first part, the second, and the third and the fourth. I mean, I know this last part got a little big. I could probably erase that and make it a little smaller so it's not quite so big there, right? Otherwise it looks a little disproportionate. All right, let's look and see what happens here on the next page. So this shape is 1/4. What does the whole look like? Well, here is the whole, right, kiddos? That's the whole. And if we were going to count 1/4 of that, it would be this. That's what I would count it as. The one, see, there's our 1/4 of it, right, kiddos? 1/4 out of that whole. Now the next shape, this is 2/5. What does the whole look like? Take a minute and you think about what you think it's going to look like. Okay, well, let's see what that 2/5 will look like if we were going to have the whole. All right, so here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they broke it into 5 parts because the denominator is 5, which tells us it needs to be broken into, the whole needs to be broken into 5 parts. And then we are going to count 2 out of those. So that would mean we would have 1, 2 would be the 2 that we would have been counting, right? That would have been our 2/5. All right. If 3 counters are 1/3, how much is the whole? So they're saying 3 counters are equal to 1/3 of the whole. Well, 3 counters are 1/3, so 3 counters, 1, 2, 3, but that's only 1/3 of it. And our denominator tells us that whatever it is broken down into 3 parts. Take a second and think about that. Okay, kiddos, so we know that 3 counters is equal to 1/3 of the whole. So there's our 3 counters, and this is 1/3. So we're going to have to figure out what our whole is. So those were our 3 counters like we were talking about, right? Our 3 counters. Whoop, there's 3 more. And 3 more. So they're saying that there are 3 counters in each third to make up the whole. So the whole is going to have all 3 of those. This would be 1/3, 2/3, and this would be 3/3, right? So then that would be your whole. Or if you wanted to put it like this so you could see it better, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you would count one of those out of the 3 because that whole thing would be your whole, just so it's a little in a little neater space than the other was. All right, so the next part, if 10 counters are 2/6, how much is the whole? So they're telling us that 10 counters are 2/6 of something. Well, the denominator tells us that the whole is going to be 6 parts, right, kiddos? So if we were going to have, the denominator tells us there's 6 parts, so we're going to count 2 of those parts, and there's 10 counters in those 2 parts. So we're going to have 6 different parts for the whole. So if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to put my 10 up there, get it straight again. So that is actually that is 2/6 of it, right? They're saying that 10 counters is 2/6 of the whole. So if 10 counters are 2/6 of the whole, let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many more do we need to make it whole? Yeah, we're going to need 4 more like this to make it a whole, right? Because the denominator tells us that it's into 6 parts. So then there'd be 1 more row, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to have 5 in each of those rows, right, kiddos? Okay, so this would be 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6, which means that's the whole, right, kiddos? And our numerator, nice, not a very great rating there, but that's all right. Our numerator would be these 2, right? Because we're counting 2 out of those 6, so 2/6 of the whole. Right? And then they figured it out for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we counted those 2 out of there. All right, kiddos, I think we're going to stop with that. And hope that made sense to you guys.